Title: Today's Sermon, Are You at the End of the Earth Now? Contents: Psalm 61, 1-8. From the ends of the earth I will cry out to you when my heart is crushed, lead me to a rock that is higher than me. In the text, David said, "My heart is crushed." The word, when pressed, here means, a taf, which means, like a corpse in a shroud. David describes the most difficult condition as being at the ends of the earth. When the situation is difficult, people feel their heart is pressed and feel pain as if they are standing on the edge of the earth. So, under what circumstances would you feel as if you were standing on the edge of the earth? Princess Deoki, the last princess of Korea, grew up with love, but with the death of her father, Emperor Gojong, she began to be pushed to the ends of the earth. He went to Japan at the young age of 13, married an unwanted servant, the death of his daughter, and the suicide of his husband, and his own aphasia and mental illness were the end of the world for him. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, inherited poverty and hunger from his parents when he was young. When he grew up, from the age of 23 to 50, 2 business failures and 5 failures to enter the U.S. Congress were another end of the world. In the text, David was also at the end of the earth. David was betrayed by his lovingly raised son, Absalom, a trusted friend, Ahithophel, and the people who had supported them when they struggled in war and poverty. David had to leave the throne and fled to an empty place. In the end, it was the end of David's land that was so miserable that he had no choice but to fight his son's army. What is important is our life now. If our lives stand at the ends of the earth, it is blocking our ears from hearing the voice of the Lord, tying up our limbs from serving, and blinding us from seeing God's grace and love. So, without gratitude and devotion, service, faith, hope and love, joy disappears, and the meaning of life and faith are lost. Isn't it the end of the earth? But it must be remembered that man has the ends of the earth, but also high rocks. Verse 2. What is a tall rock here? It was as if he had tied up his son Isaac, whom he had at the age of 100, and was about to strike him with a sword when he said to Abraham, "Stop." It's like the voice of God that I heard. Today's text introduces this as a tower of grace, verse 3, the promised inheritance, verse 5, and the blessing of long life and prosperous descendants, verse 6. Dear saints, I hope that you will cry out and pray to God who will lead you to high places, verses 1-2, and faithfully keep the full worship, verse 4, and the promise you made to God, vow, at the church, the tabernacle of the Lord. Then you will surely see up close the high rock that God has prepared for us.